All right, all praise to the Most High Yahweh and to His Son, my brother, Amashiach Yahushai. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. I'm back, and this video, we are gonna start to make our way into the overall understanding of the 12 tribes chart of Israel in the Americas. Before we get into all that, um, I must show you the um, the understanding of what I'm saying when there's Japhetic groupings of people that are imitating other Shemitic groups of people, and what I'm often seeing that a group has alternating genes to where they could create reoccurring dark groups of people, and the same with pale complexion people. So we'll get into a little bit of that, but once again, we'll look at this chart right here. So this is just your overall white DNA chart of um, almost all the groups of people on of the male paternal white DNA line. Um, Almost all, some of them are missing, and not just that, but um, they started to condense the haplogroups because, like I was saying before, some of these groups are just repeated um, markers for Japhetic people to create the cover up of them being um, um, a dark race versus a pale race. So they don't want people to find out that all these Caucasian people are really actually from dark races of people. So by now we should know that by basic science with understanding albinos and all that stuff. So on this chart, I'm going to zoom in a little bit if I can. So we have at the top, we have this red bots, and I've been over this before. So this is just a quick rundown because th- this is gonna just be dealing with uh, a unique Shemitic group that we have to grab an understanding of who these people are, and once we get the basic understanding, then we get get into um, the stuff in the Americas. So right here at the top, you have the boxing or the grouping of people that are Hermetic and Shemitic groups that are found in Africa. So these are your African haplogroups, but not all these groupings of people are Hermetic. So you got A double zero to B. Those are your Hermetic people. Those are your people that are um, your Cushitic, Hamitic, Kemetic, Hamites. Then the next group would be your E1A. This is your Shemitic Ishmaelite group. The next group is E1B1A. This is your Shemitic Israelite group. The next one with the blue box around it is your E1B1B. That is your Shemitic Edomite group. E2, this is your Shemitic Midianite group. So all these are your groupings of um, people in Africa. And so, like I said, all these people are not Hamitic. Um, so, with that out the way, we move down into this light orange bots. So, this light orange bots, as you can see, they often rearrange the these haplogroups, so you can tell it's not in order or according to what they know who these people are. So you have D, and D would be your Ammonite group. D would be your Jawa people, the people that are on the coastline area of India, and you're in the islands near India with the um, Jawa people, the Amaninis. I don't know if I said it right. The Andaman people. Um, those would be your Ammonites, and and all these people from A00 to D. All these people are dark races of people. Even this bots with the E1B1B. So for people that don't know what the E1B1B is, once again, that's a Shemitic marker for Edom. So Edom, um, we discovered, is a ruddy brown, according to what we have from the Bible and everything. They are definitely a ruddy brown groupings of people. So when you look at the Edomites of today in Africa, they fit that title, and they also are a dark complexion of a brown tinted skin, and they also are a pale complexion. So with that understanding, with knowing all these groups of people, even the Shemitic, Ishmaelite, Midian, our people, Edom, uh, the Ammonites, all these people are dark races of people. So we have to get a basic understanding that all of the paternal lines of people are dark race of people. So we move down to the C group. So all these C's are basically um, Moabites. These are Shemitic Moabites, and they stop at C2. Now, there've been mutations, so there's other C groupings of people, and you'll find the other C groupings of people outside of Australia, in Hawaii, and also in the Americas. So you have a C3A grouping of people that you could find in the Americas. So these are your markers or your haplogroups dealing with the Shemitic Moabites, dealing with the Australian Aboriginal people. So, and now we move down to the G's and the H and the I's and the J's and the LT's. So, what I wanted to, I thought K2, I thought K2 was on here, or K1, either or. But basically, um, they have this G marker, G1, starting off the haplogroups for the Caucasian people, and that's the wrong way. These are the pale complexion groups of people from G to I, and some parts of J. These are your pale complexion groups of people. So um, the other way around, when you get to the bottom of this, these are all from G1 to Q. All these people are Japhetic Caucasian people. So they already, from what I saw on Wikipedia, and we're going to get to those things shortly, they already started to condense this charting of people into less subclades and protein counts and all that, and started to condense them into um, shorthand versions of being the same groupings of people. And they should have done that a long time ago, but not a lot of people are into DNA information, so um, it's something that they've been trying to use to cover their tracks for the two different types of white people. So um, on here, the closest thing to the K2 would be your M and your S. Um, your M and the S would be the close markers to the K2. So these markers that are in between, like the the N and the O and the Q, those groupings of people are the imitation versions of the Asian races of people. So you have Japhetic um, Caucasian people, and then you have Japhetic Asian people. So most of the people that you see in Hollywood movies or mainstream media, um, jobs doing news or whatever, most of those pale skinned Asian people are Japhetic Asian people. They are not Ammon, they are not Moab, they are just Japhetic people, and they are not Elam. Elam is not even on here. That would be your F group, and they don't have, like I said, they don't have the K1 group of people dealing with one of them. Probably, if they are not the original grouping of the beginning line of Caucasian people, it would be either R1A or R1B, even though both of these R groups, are the same groups. And like I said, they eventually they'll condense all this down like they've been doing with the M and the S, connecting it back to the K group. But the R1A grouping and R1B groupings, these are the main group that you can look at and you can see very dark to very pale skin complexion people. So you see the alternating gene concept and understanding working through these people as major groups of people that are either dark groups or pale skin complexion groups, very different groups of people, but yet there are um, populations of this in Africa, in Western Europe, and also in the Americas along the East Coast. So, with that in mind, we're going to move into the next overall picture. So, I just downloaded most of these today. Um, I've been doing different videos of DNA information, and I feel like I had to do a few videos before I get to the old videos that I done or have to edit to do over again. Um, but I have to explain to y'all, exactly who I'm talking about being in the Americas and so on. So we go to this, and we seen this one before. If I can make it big enough. So basically, these are just your um, movement patterns, origins of starting and origins of moving groups around the planet. So you have um, in the middle, at the bottom, Australia. And I don't think people could see that too well, but so Australia is supposed to be C1. You have C1 and C2 in Australia, meaning the original groupings of the Shemitic Moabites settling. That's the settling point, and they've been there for so long. So after a while, they moved, and the people that moved started to get a mutation going. So you start to see C3B and C3A. You know, some of the C groups took different routes to get to the Americas, but they are there. So, so the only mutation that is known for the C group is the ladder markers of the C3 and the C4. Even if there's a marker, I think there is a C4. Not sure, but could be. So now we have a basic understanding that these people from Australia is one of the major populations of Shemitic people in the Americas that are dealing with the native population. Other than that, there's not a native Bantu Shemitic grouping, haplogroup in this region. Everybody, all the E1B1A, and even some of the E1A and some of the E1B1B, all those groupings of people came over as slaves and or as um, the Moors, as a lot of Kemetic and Hebrew Israelite camps like to reference to um, the Moors. So that's the only way all those other groupings of people came over. And other than that, this is just the layout. And you see right above India, like in the region of Pakistan, you have D1 and D3. So that's also dealing with the Ammonites, you know. So you have H because Elam, the Elamites are a F group. So that would be your dark complexion group of Indian people. But you also have a R group. You have a H. You have a few others. You know, you have KT. You have a lot of other groups within the vicinity of these islands and the region of Thailand and other coastal regions in Asia. So you have your competing um, Japhetic groupings of people in those regions that are basically camouflaging and imitating the Shemitic groups of people in that area. So and yes, you do have a small population of E1B1A in India dealing with the city people. So as you can see, um, I think that's at the top. I wish I could zoom in. It's been a while. Um, let's see. And I don't think I have my paperwork near me, so I can't tell you exactly Well, at the top right here in the green, I believe that's those are the N3s, and the N and the O is dealing with another grouping of Asian people that are trying to camouflage the um, or trying to imitate um, being Asian people. So these are just Japhetic Asian people that are in the region, and we already know about Africa and Europe. So your R grouping, your major R grouping, is found in mostly in Europe, and then there's a little bit in Africa, as you can see, and then there's another major population of the same people in eastern or northeastern America. Okay, so we move on to the next thing. So real quick, we are gonna see this picture once again in the charting of the people in the Americas. So all these people right here, the Aboriginal people of Australia, these are your C1 and C2 groupings of people. These are your Shemitic Moabites. Okay, so we have that, and now we get into um, looking into people from Solomon Island. So you have people in Micronesia and the islands in the Pacific, and these are your K2 or your K1 groupings of people. These are your Japhetic Caucasian group of people. Some more pictures of the same people. Just making sure you understand that these are Japhetic Caucasian people. So they originally used to live in the Greek Isles in Greece, in that entire region, and they migrated all the way down into the Pacific Ocean or Indian Ocean, and then into the Pacific Ocean region. So Australian Aboriginal people, a group of boys, and then your Japhetic Solomon Island Oceania people. So, so your Japhetic Caucasian group, your K1 grouping of people with the blonde hair and everything. So, got that any more? Once again, some more Aboriginal groupings of people. Notice the unique features on these groupings of people, not just the complexion, because like I said, when you could tell on these groups of people that they are related to the Jawa people, because the Jawa people are as dark of a grouping of people as these are, or as they are. So they definitely fit the mold of being um, Shemitic Moabites. So and then I downloaded some more. So now we look into the Irish people. So I wanted to make a quick notation about the Irish people. And many of the Irish people are Japhetic Caucasian people. A small percentage of them might be Edom, but that is not going to be a lot. A small percentage of them might be our people, but it won't be a lot. Um, these people are related to the Native American people in the Americas, dealing with the R1 grouping. So those people, mostly like the Seminoles and other groupings of black natives that we would associate as black Americans or even close to being African American, these people are closely related to them. So just want to get these complexions and um, people groups in your minds for food for thought or for a better understanding of what we are dealing with when we come to the total conclusion that all white people are Edom or Edomites, and or all black people are Hamites. So uh, for people that are watching this video for the first time, I've been slowly introducing the understanding through many people about all the races of people on the planet were originally dark races of people, and they are still dark races of people. You just have two groups of people on the planet that have um, mutations and reoccurring alternating genes um, that create pale complexion. Other than that, um, it's just those two groups of people. A Shemitic a percentage of Shemitic Edomites, and a large percentage, but not larger than the overall percentage of Japhetic Caucasian people. Um, so so now we go into, and yeah, I wanted to show some of the famous, the so-called famous Irish people. If my phone loads up, and it's taking too much time, so I guess we won't look at that. But what it is, um, we all know who Bono, Conor McGregor, um, Lindsay Lohan, um, Liam Neeson, and so on, who they are. All those are Irish people. Um, so this, well, before we get into that, we're gonna get into the Oceania groupings of people. So This is the YDNA haplogroups and population of Oceania. So this is the chart that's dealing with the different people groups in the Pacific. Okay, those are the people groupings and their languages, I believe, on the side right there. And the next box will be the amount of people tested, and then the other boxes would be your haplogroups, and below it would be the percentages of that number. So on here is an interesting grouping. So they could have just did C, K, and O, I believe. So C, K, and O is the markers that we have to actually um, pay attention to. Other than that, the M and the S is a K group subclade. The C2 is a subclade to C. So, oh, look, there go a C4. I knew it. So, the C2 is dealing with the groupings of people that are in uh, the beginning cycle of that haplogroup of Aboriginal Australian people. This C is dealing with possibly either C3 and C4, as you can see, C4, and it don't say if it's also dealing with C3. It just have a little asterisk or a star next to the um, the equal amount. So C2 and C are Shemitic Moabite groups. K is your Japhetic Caucasian group that's now located deep in the Pacific. M is the K2. So they change K2 into M, and that's where you see the M group. The O are the Japhetic Asian people. The S is another grouping. So K2B would be S, and then there's others. And the others are, it varies, but you do have a R grouping and a F grouping. So you have Elam, your first sighting of Elam in the region. So real quick, we are going to just go down this and look at the high markers of people dealing with the Japhetic Caucasian group of K. So real quick, 30 is a good percentage. Um, so that's dealing with Arnhem land people. Don't know where that at. Let's see, where is it? Northern Territory of what place? We don't know. Of Australia. So the first spots under those people of C2 is at 0. So this is very interesting. Um, C1 or C2 should be there because many of those people are um, Aboriginals, but they are Aboriginal people, but they tested high for the latter haplogroup C4, which is very interesting. Talking about like a ghost gene. Look at that ghost gene. Okay, K. So K is at 30% from this group. And then the rest is at 0. And then you have others at 5.0. So moving down, you have a 36.0 that's dealing with what group of people? The Bougainville people, the Bougainville people, Bougainville, I can't say it, I'm sorry. But yeah, some of those pictures that I have of the Japhetic people are from this grouping of people. So uh, let's see, C2 is at 1.3. The C is at nothing. The K is at 36.0. The M, I believe, is that M? Yeah, the M is at 41.3. Remember, this M is a um, close subclade to K. So um, the only other marker that may come into play to a understanding is the 14.7. That's dealing with the Japhetic Asian group, and then you have a Shemitic grouping of people of Elam at 5.3 for F. We go down is a 41%, and this is dealing with Fiji. So C2 is at 3. The C group overall is at 41. Or no, my bad. I'm sorry. Uh, the C is missing for C2. The overall group for C is at 3%. And then, okay, then K, because I'm scrolling down the K column to find the high percentages of K. So K is at 41. And as you can see, the other groups of people dealing with K is at 15, and then the O, I believe, is this O? Yeah, O is at 15, and then the other two boxes dealing with S and others are missing. Okay, we'll move down to the one that says 65.6, and this is dealing with Micronesia. The C2 is missing. The overall C box is at 18.7. So the next box would be your K at 65.6. Okay, and then right here, as you can see, they went crazy right here and started to do all kinds of stuff with the K. And like I said before, the M and the S is other groupings of K subclades, and they did this. So, and that's under New Britain. And where is that located? What island? Papua New Guinea. Okay, any more? You have another grouping, PNG Islands. There's one at 59.4. Solomon. And look at that. Look at O. O is at 28.1. 28.1 for O, for the Solomon Island grouping of people. Then right here they have a 60% for O for Tonga, which somewhat makes sense when you look at the features of those people of Tonga. They sort of look like your Hawaiian type of Pacific Island people. So that was it on that. So now we go into looking at this rabbit hole. Now I've seen this chart before, but underneath this there's like a longhand count chart. I don't know if it's at the bottom of this or at the top. Okay. This chart, and then there's another chart, I believe. Uh, a chart that I could collapse from this grouping of people. So this is an interesting chart because now it's giving away a lot of secrets of Edom, mostly Edom and other groups of people, but mostly Edom. So you have these E groupings of people. These are dealing with Edom. This group, that group, this EM35 Edom. Uh, this one, this E1B1B, all dealing with Edom. And one of these chartings of Edom, let me look at this one. It collapsed and it goes into a interesting matrix. Yeah, here you go. So this matrix of information is dealing with the shorthand information of all the branches of Edom, the E1B1B. So, and I found that interesting and you can see eventually I'm gonna get back into covering all this once again because I'm going to do the comparison between Alawak people versus Bantu people, and doing the prominent um, understanding of the prominent tribes of those groupings of people. But before I get into all that, I have to still explain to people who Edom is and where Edom is. So here you go, another piece of interesting information about Edom. And normally these languages are just referring to these secondary groupings of people that speak similar languages, and some of them are Hermetic groupings of people that can speak the same language. But um, we found out that Edom been hiding among these titles of being Afro-Asiatic and Berber, and Afro-Asiatic and Shemitic, or Habesha, and so on. So these are all the different places and titles that the real Edomites are hiding under. And like I said, you do have small percentages of Edomites in Europe. Most of them are in Albania and also in Greece. As you can see, the percentages of the I like this because with these branches, you could look into the concentration. You could match sometimes their complexion with their protein count. So these V13s and V12s, and maybe all the V's, all these V's are dealing with the pale complexion groupings of Edomites, and then the M's and the other markers that would pop up, the EM, or yeah, basically many of them are EM. Those would be dealing with your Berber groups of the mixed coloration of dark complexion of a ruddy brown to a light complexion of a brown tan color. So I just wanted to share with y'all that, I just found that today, and I was like, yeah, probably should share it. So back to this chart. So like I said, these right here. So you have these haplogroups, and the R1s or your Japhetic Caucasian group. All these are uh, well, minus the E1B1B. That's your only Shemitic grouping on this page. Everybody else is Japhetic Caucasian or Japhetic Asian. So you have that. So let's look at the for this. Like the only reason why we are looking at this is because I wanted to also show you what I meant when they are constantly trying to promote this concept of Europe being filled with like a pale complexion group of people. Okay, your major pale complexion group of Caucasian people is this G group on here. That would be your G group. The next grouping would be your N. Other than that, others don't really say much. You have a L and a Q. Other than that, this T group is a closely related marker to the K. The J is also one of those markers that are closely related to the K, to where you do have some uh, darkening of the complexion in this grouping of people. And yes, you can find J in Africa as well. So, and the other complexion, pale complexion, would be your I. That would be your Scandinavian grouping of people. So, looking at this chart is to just show you the different color rate waves of Japhetic people. So, this R1B and R1A are in the Americas as well, and you can find them in the there's R1B in Africa. So so I hope showing the different similarities of these groupings of people dealing with the Caucasian people being either a dark complexion or a pale complexion. So this this video is not so much about Edom. I just went down that rabbit hole because like I saw something that I didn't see before when I was doing previous videos and research on Edom. So I elected to go into the rabbit hole to share the branches. It's not the first time I showed the branches of Edom, but um, it was more than I showed before, you know. So when you see what they are trying to do with the color scheme of Japhetic people and then the Edomites, then you'll better have an understanding of who those people are and who Israelites are in different regions. So these are the countries, and like I said before, most of the time in these Albanian countries or these groupings of people dealing with Albanians, um, a good percentage of that sample is going to be dealing with Edom. So I like how they try to confuse you. They put the number right there, and then they put the percentages in the number underneath once again. So that was it with that. Anything else? I think that's it with this video. I think I did it. I did what I needed to do with the edification points with this video. Just trying to share with people about the Shemitic grouping that we're gonna get into of Moab, the Moabites. So, so once again, all praise to the Most High Yahweh and to His Son, my brother, Hamashiach, Yahushai. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. Thank y'all.